Shalom, Bethel family, and others who are joining us today. It is Thursday, and once again, time for our review of last week's Torah talk here at Bethel. And last week it was Parshat Emor, which is a beautiful parsha about the laws governing the Kohanim, particularly about their family relationships. And then it goes on to talk about the holidays. But last week in Shul, we focused in on those family relationships. In particular, in honor of Mother's Day, we wanted to talk about the value of parenthood in Judaism. You know, family has always been a core value of Judaism, going all the way back to our earliest ancestors. And we spoke in Shul about how it's interesting. Motherhood, in particular, plays a special role, even as opposed to fatherhood. Fathers have their places and their roles, but mothers have an even more special one. And one of the ways we see that is that when we bless our daughters on Friday nights, we bless them, Yisimech Elohim Kesara Rivka Rachel Valeah. May you be like our matriarchs, our foremothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. It's not equivalent for boys. On boys, we say, Yisimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim U'Kemanashe, who are not in those earliest generations like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We don't call them our forefathers. They are sons of Joseph 2 generations later than the patriarchs. But for women, for girls, the blessing goes all the way back to these sort of archetypes of motherhood. Now, you might take this the wrong way and think that that is only because Judaism thinks the only role for women is to be mothers. But if that's what you think, then you don't know the stories of Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. These were not passive women. These were not women who were there only to have children. These women were active in ensuring the future of the line of Judaism. If it weren't for the decisions they made, the thoughts that they had, their own personal relationships with God, then Judaism would not continue on as we have it. They are involved in where they go and where to settle and how to pass on the tradition. And this paradigm for Jewish motherhood quickly became a pillar of Jewish spirituality, Jewish success, and Jewish survival. That's why we bless our girls, that you should be like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Not because of this idea that they should just have babies, but because of the idea that ensuring the future, taking care of the children, the next generation, is so much more than that, and that women, mothers, have a special role to play in that. I shared a few sources about the prominence of motherhood in rabbinic literature on Saturday. I'll share one of them with you now. It's a favorite story of mine about Rabbi Tarfon. It seems that Rabbi Tarfon fell ill, and he was a very respected sage, very knowledgeable, and his mother feels terrible, and she goes to the other rabbis. She goes to the yeshiva, and she begs them, pray for my son Tarfon, because he has showed me too much honor. And the rabbis say, what do you mean he showed you too much honor? Tell us what that means. And so she tells this story, how one day they were walking on Shabbat, and they were pretty far away from their house, about as far as you could get, about 2,000 cubits, and her shoes split. Remember, this is the ancient world 2,000 years ago. They were wearing sandals, and sometimes they fell apart. So her shoe falls apart. And so she tells the rabbis, rather than let me walk home barefoot, this great sage, Rabbi Tarfon, got down on his hands and knees and crawled home with his hands cupped under his mother's feet so that her bare foot shouldn't touch the ground. So he was willing to take this honored rabbi who deserves the utmost respect, was willing to lower himself on behalf of his mother, so much so that he crawled all the way home just to take care that her foot shouldn't touch the ground. And the rabbis look at her and they say, you know, that's a beautiful story, and your son clearly has shown you a lot of honor. And we'll pray for him, of course. But even that is not too much honor that a child should show their mother. And there's really just no limit to it. And the reason why is because it's not just about the person who gave you life. Motherhood as a value in Judaism is about ensuring the next generation. And that is so much of what Judaism is all about, right? We are not of the narcissistic opinion that seems popular in this day and age, that all of human history has been leading up to us and that the whole world is here for our enjoyment. But in Judaism, we believe we are a link in a chain, in a grand project of a people that is near immortal, because each of us is a link in this chain from Mount Sinai to some future redemption when we can feel and sense that holiness in the world. And motherhood, that value, is the value of ensuring the next link in the chain. It is central. It is a pillar of what it means to be Jewish. And that's why we cannot show our mothers too much honor. There's just no such thing. But in honor of this Mother's Day, I not only want to emphasize the honor and gratitude that our own mothers deserve from us, even when those relationships sometimes grow complicated, but I also want to remind us that the best way to honor our mothers is to bring those same maternal and parental values into our own lives. The value of caring for others, the value of nurturing the next generation, and ensuring that there will be a Jewish future and a positive future for all of humanity. We honor our mothers when we make those values our own values. The truth is that some of us can never be mothers. Some of us, for one reason or another, will never, whether they're able or not, will never be mothers, right? So look, I'm not able to be a mother. Some women just won't be mothers, at least in the traditional sense. Others of us are past the time in our lives when motherhood is taking up a lot of our energy. But there are so many ways still to embrace this value and nurture the next generation and ensure the future for the Jewish people and for all people. Being like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah means being a teacher, being a mentor, being a nurturer. It means supporting the organizations that ensure the Jewish future locally, like our congregation Bethel, the Hebrew Academy of Tidewater, the Federation and the Tidewater Jewish Foundation, and more globally by supporting national and international organizations like the Jewish National Fund, and a new favorite of ours around here, the Friends of the IDF. And of course, it goes beyond supporting only Jewish organizations. There are so many great organizations right here in our community that help local at-risk kids. Places like CHKD, shelters, and after-school programs at the Y, and things like that. This year, let's celebrate Mother's Day, and since Mother's Day actually passed this past Sunday, it's never too late to go back and tell your mother this, and Father's Day is still coming, so we still have a chance. So let's celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day, not by just telling our mothers how much they mean to us, but by showing them, by taking on that role of ensuring our family's future and our people's future in a new way. Choose a new tzedakah organization to support or a new place to volunteer, and make sure that mom and dad know you are doing it in their honor and in honor of the values they instilled in you and the future they gave you and your family. Now, I know that people like to get flowers and they like to get chocolates and scarves and shirts and all these kinds of things, but I have a feeling that if you really make that dedication in honor of your mother and you explain exactly why you're doing it, I think that that may be even more meaningful than the flowers on this Mother's Day. And it's certainly going to, in the long run, take that value of motherhood and pay it forward, which is indeed what Judaism is all about. And so I want to wish all those mothers, including my own, who enjoyed, I hope, wonderful days this past Sunday, a very happy Mother's Day. And fathers who have Father's Day coming up in a few weeks, I wish you a happy Father's Day, and hopefully we can all in honor of these two great days, and more importantly, these two central and important roles in our Jewish value system and in our lives, that we can all dedicate ourselves to bringing those values into our lives and to making this world a little better in honor of those who gave us the chance to experience it. With that, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom